Hey, it's DMac SMaK for September 17th, 2025. We'll get to the Rockies hung up on 41. Kind of an interesting game last night. We'll get there in a second. We'll also go through the Broncos and the Chargers by the numbers. And it's a little weird in week 2, but we'll hit you with that. And we start with the identity crisis of Prime and CU. But first, no identity crisis when it comes to our great friends at Journey Spice. They're the best. Hit up this QR code right here, my friends, and you will save 10% using the code Get Spicy. I love Journey Spice. So delicious in singles, doubles, quads. It is incredibly delicious on every meal you can imagine. We use Journey Spice on literally everything we use in our little household. You'll love it too. More on Journey Spice in a little bit. But again, use this QR code, save yourself some money, do yourself a favor. It's Journey Spice for the W. Okay. Prime has said rain. He has said what is bolstered. He says who in the world has a primary quarterback? And now we talk about identity. I love Prime. I love CU. I'm glad he's the coach. I do feel like sometimes there's more TED Talks than X's and O's. And this was a tricky one because you're into week 4 of your season. You're not identifying who your quarterback is. You have the right to not say it. It's just a sad state of affairs when it's not obvious and you can't say it out loud. It's weird. And then there's the whole identity thing. Mark Kisla, really good question about what CU is all about. And you had this back and forth exchange. So we're going to break down what Prime does when he's asked questions like this, which is often to deflect and actually ask media members the question back. Like if he doesn't really have an answer or finds it kind of preposterous, he looks for affirmation basically in silence. Well, in this particular case, a couple of the reporters actually responded to him. So here we go with, your identity.
Mark Kisla, Denver Gazette. Going back to the identity question, it's which comes first, identity or winning? Winning or identity?
Winning.
How much
I
patience?
don't give a darn what I did. First of all, I don't know coaches that seek identity. I think coaches seek wins.
All right. Well, that's a problem right there. I mean, of course, your identity and who you are, how you define yourself is your philosophy that theoretically will lead to wins.
You could call it what you want. It looks the way it looks. I don't. I
No, nobody sacrifices like wins just to reestablish an identity. If you're not winning, you don't have probably an identity in the first place.
I don't care what kind of car we pull up in, long as we pull out of here with a W. I'm
Yeah, that's what leads you to not like ever running the ball. Like I don't know. It's all about winning. We're not trying to establish anything. We say we want to run the ball. We say we want to play a certain way, but we get desperate. That's being desperate.
good. So I don't really get into the identity thing, not whatsoever. I would like to do some things better. We like to stop the run. We like to run the ball. We like to be consistent offensively and defensively.
Well, that would be an identity, wouldn't it? And that would be probably executing as a physical team. Like being a physical team would be an identity.
We'd love to do those things better, but I can't be narrowed down with what's your identity? What does that mean?
All right, so here we go. This is what Prime loves to do when he just kind of is caught up in a little bit of word salad and he's not sure where to go here. He puts it back on the reporters because most of the reporters that cover CU are pretty timid and don't want to piss him off because he's banned journalists in the past. So you want to stay on his good side. So what is identity? Well, here you actually have a couple reporters that answer him.
What does that mean? What's your identity? I don't even know what that means. Excuse you?
All right, so that was what's an identity? What you're known for and what you do best. Yes. Yes. The identity of the CU Buffs last year centered around Shadur Sanders and Travis Hunter and, Wester, and a dynamic passing offense. That was the identity of CU football. A dynamic passing offense, an electric offense. That's who they were. And they stuck with it for better or worse to a loss in the Alamo Bowl, but also to a Heisman Trophy championship for one player.
I don't think we can hang our hat out. Like Ohio State won the national championship, right? What did they hang their hat on?
Yeah, they say running the football. They had a couple of dudes who were drafted with Henderson, Travion Henderson, right? I always get that mixed up with Henderson and Stevenson. I have no idea why I do that. And Judkins. I'm so paranoid. Patriots. Travion Henderson. I have no idea why I say Stevenson, because I'm an idiot, I guess. But yeah, Henderson and Judkins. That was kind of who they were. Running the football, but they had two. You can't hang your hat on two running backs. You can't. That's not nothing to hang your hat on. It's got to be. Everybody got two running backs. Yeah, but I know he's having fun with it. Everybody has two running backs, but like, your identity last year was your dynamic receivers and your son who was a quarterback. That was your identity. Certainly not your running backs. I don't care how many you had. Running backs can kick your butt. They can't kick your butt without the line. Okay, I agree. So now see, he's somebody. It's two running backs who could kick your butt. It's not just two running backs. It was two dynamic running backs with Judkins and Henderson, and that is absolutely correct. That's who they were. Anyways, you give up after a while. The more question Prime actually asked the reporters, after a while, you're just like, okay, forget it. Yeah, without the line, they can't kick your butt. Like, I understand what you're trying to say, but winning is winning, man. It's not one thing you can hang your hat on. I would love to say, shoot, we could do this and we could do that, but you got to have consistency before you. By the way, what the hell does that mean? Winning is winning. And we're getting to Mike McDaniel land.
To win games, you have to win the game, not lose the game.
Okay.
Start opening your mouth and rambling off like that. Excuse me?
We're just doing a flat-out talk show now.
I'm not a patient man on anything, so I'm a fixer, man. I want to fix the problems. I'm not a guy that want to linger and just have that kind of stuff going on. I'm just as upset with some of you watching when you watch the TV or you're there. I'm just as upset or even more because I know what's supposed to be happening. Like, I hear it goes in and I know what's supposed to be happening. It don't happen. So you're upset with that sentiment. But we're going to get it.
Well, if it's not happening, and it's not happening the way it's supposed to happen, and the talent's there, then it is not good coaching. I don't know what else to say. Listen, sometimes you just don't have the talent, okay? You can do everything right, and just there's a better team there. Last stuff here.
Together. I know we have the young men inside that locker room and the coaching staff to get it together.
All right, well, I hope so. I'm wishing for the best for Prime, even though I'm wearing some UNC gear. My younger son goes to CU right now. We're going up for family weekend. I'm unsure. 8:15 kick for that Wyoming game. We'll see. All right, so it's an identity crisis. Ain't no doubt about it. That's what you got at CU. And winning is winning. Meanwhile, let's go through some of the Broncos and the Chargers game by the numbers. And, we can sort of see the numbers here. I'll go through it with you if it's hard to see. Green is good. Red is bad. The Chargers, and I know it's only 2 weeks, so yards per play, they're 6. Points per game, they're 11th. Rushing yards, they're 25th, so having a hard time getting Omari and Miller going right now. They're 4th in passing yards. They have not thrown an interception yet this year. Good for Justin Herbert. They've lost a fumble, and that's their only giveaway of the year. They have allowed 5 sacks. And their third down percentage, pretty good, 9th in the league. Meanwhile, they struggle in the red zone offensively. The Broncos, if you go down this list, in the red zone offense, they're tied for 10th. That's all right. Third down, they're middle of the pack. Sacks allowed, they've only given up 1 sack. That is outstanding, and that's on the offensive line and Bo Nix. That is by far what they've done best. Passing yards, 25th. Fumbles lost, 2, 26. Giveaways, 30th. That's bad. Points per game, 9th, 10th in net rushing yards. So not bad. So they're not passing the ball all that well, and they're rushing the ball kind of okay. Defensively, the Broncos, in terms of some of their highlights, they're 5th in sacks with 7 sacks. Third down percentage, that 29.6, second, and red zone percentage, they're tied for second, 2 for 6. That's what the Colts were in the red zone. Meanwhile, in the red zone, the San Diego, I knew I was going to get caught. The Chargers, Los Angeles Chargers, percentage red zone is first. Other things they do good. They do not allow scoring. They're third in the league at 15 points per. And they've played the Chiefs and the Raiders. So that's pretty impressive. So defensively, they're doing pretty good. Offensively, they're doing pretty good. They're a pretty good team. Turnover margin, the Broncos are -4. That's 28th. That is miserable. And they're +2 for the Chargers. That's 4th in the league. And there's a reason why you're 2-0 and you beat the Chiefs and the Raiders. And those are some of the reasons why right there. So it's 2 weeks in. It's hard to tell. We'll break down the game and what the Chargers look like in detail from noon to 3 with Columbus, Hastings, and DMac. Got back from his vacation with his high school friends that all go to a lake and pretend they're 15 again, except the cabin is like a mansion on a lake. So by the numbers, the Chargers it is exactly what we thought. Right now, the Chargers are off to a better start in the year than the Broncos. They've had a weird start to the season where they played 3 straight division games. So going 3-0 in the division would be this crazy money in the bank advantage for the Chargers. Chargers are favored by 2.5. You know what? I'll even check the spread here this morning. So it was a 2.5 yesterday, but give me a second. That feels about right. They should be favored. They're off to a little bit better a start. They've got a great quarterback. What are we at here? Yeah, 2.5. Still at 2.5. The over-under points is 45.5. So that's about right. That's probably, screaming 20-17, something like that. Some sort of game along those lines based on scoring in red zone. Probably a few other field goals in there. May get a wacky 18-15 games, something along those lines. Expecting a high-scoring shootout would probably be unrealistic, but we'll see. And we're happy to go through everything later today on Columbus, Hastings, and DMac. All right, we'll get to our Rockies here in a second. And it was an interesting twist last night after a crazy rain delay. Details in a second.
There's a world of flavor out there, and to find it, you have to take the journey. Journey Spice Company handcrafts the most premium spice and seasoning blends that have no sugar, no salt, are certified USDA organic, non-GMO, vegan-friendly, and always planet-friendly. You are going to love serving amazingly delicious creations while knowing you helped reduce single-use plastics. Make sure to search for Journey Spice Company on Amazon today.
Journey Spice, you are the absolute best. I'm getting the box score for the Rockies and the Marlins. Don't forget, use the code GETSPICY to save 10% on all products at Amazon.com. The Rockies sit at 41 in a classy moment. Kyle Freeland, who was nominated for the Roberto Clemente Award, wore number 21 last night to honor Roberto Clemente. I thought that was awesome. And I do like Kyle Freeland overall, but his line sucked. 5 2/3, 8 hits, 6 runs, all earned, 1 walk, 1 strikeout, and 73 pitches, 52 strikes. So he's throwing strikes. He just can't get outs. He can't get strikeouts. He struggles in that department. Didn't give up any home runs, so it was just little stuff. Dink, dink, dunk, dunk, dunk. Meanwhile, you got Hill, Molina, and Vodnik. They come in. They don't give up any runs over the course of 3 and a third inning. So it enabled the Rockies to make a hell of a comeback. Mickey Moniak has been sick, absolutely sick as of late. He was 2 of 5 last night for 3 RBI. He had 5 RBI the other night in a loss. And there was a lengthy rain delay, and it was bark at the park. So it was like the smell of wet dog and loneliness at Coors Field. And yet still the Rockies, I mean, it was a hell of an effort late in the game as they scored a couple of runs, and they had the winning run on base. And Hunter Goodman hit a bullet to the third baseman. And then if that ball is 1 foot to the left, it's a double down the line, and the Rockies actually win. They are on 41 right now. And to not be the worst, if they end up tied with the White Sox from last year with 41 wins, they will be the worst team of all time, because there are so many other terrible numbers that go along with the Rockies. You get 42 wins. You just can't be the worst team of all time if you don't have the worst record. You can't do it. Kyle Freeland said, quote, "It's hard to send a positive message out to fans right now. 3 straight 100-loss seasons, sniffing an MLB record for losses this year. Not a lot has gone correctly. This is a very tough time for Colorado Rockies baseball." It's funny. They look at the losses. I look at the wins. So the number they're looking at is the total losses. Well, I mean, just to do the math, you can reverse engineer it if you want. The worst losses would be 121. But I guess I look at it the sunny side of life. I look at more of the positives. And I got 41 as the number, 42. And I made a pledge to walk from the radio station at Park Meadows Mall, basically, to Coors Field, which is about an 18-mile walk, Willow Creek Path down to Logan Street, bang a left on Spear. We're taking a right there once we get into the ballpark district. And there is that Wawita, Wazada, Wazee, Winnewetta. I don't know. You take that right, and bam, there you are at Coors Field, or you can just go down Larimer, off Spear, and bang a left on Blake and 20th, and blah 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 blah. Anyways, so they were down 6-0. They battled back 6-5. They hit the ball hard with the winning run on base, and they lost. And 11 more shots. Meanwhile, you have Warren Schaefer, who, I mean, they have battled. I'm telling you, it's been a terrible season, but they have battled.
After the rain delay, as we always do, late in the game, made a nice push. Had the exact right guy you want up there with 2 outs in the 9th to tie the game and win the game there. Everybody in the dugout thought something good was going to happen. Just more of the same in that aspect. These boys fight. That's why the future, we keep doing that. The future's bright.
Yeah, not really. Wide sweeping changes need to happen. The only way I would even consider retaining Warren Schaefer as the manager is if they can somehow get to 50 wins, which means they would have to go 9-2 in their last 11 games. That would be a significant enough turnaround to warrant the idea that Warren Schaefer would return. Anything less than that, you got to start over. Wide sweeping changes. I think you need a bilingual manager to identify and create an identity with your team. And I do think that I see what Alex Cora can do. I do think it's important, really important. And there's a huge core of your team that is Spanish speaking. So I would go in that direction for sure. I would revamp the analytics department. You got to move on from Schmidt as the GM. You've got to do, and yes, I don't know how much Dick Monfort is involved with things, but he needs to be as quiet and as silent as possible And if his son is running the show, fine, but you might have to fire another one of your sons. And you probably need a massive construction project at Coors Field to rebuild left field, to shrink the size of the outfield and build a big, huge, giant wall. Building a big, huge, giant wall will shrink the size of the outfield. It'll stop more homers going away. It'll be a little weird construction. You need to do some massive changes. Massive changes. Other than that, you're going to have another 100-loss season next year too. You're coming off, no matter what, you've had your worst season of all time. And unless something bizarrely spectacular happens, and I hope you know, how many people, even in the media, do you know that have literally watched every single Rockies game this year? So I think this my point of criticism comes from paying attention. And yes, Mickey Moniak, cool. Caro's been all right. Tovar's obviously great. Hunter Goodman's been spectacular. You've kind of been all over the place at second base and first base, in all honesty. It's been nice to see Warming Burnable have a nice run, but he's been out for a while. You got Krim up because Toglia is useless, sadly. Beck is okay. And then your starting pitching is horrible. You've already demoted Sensatella. Marquez just looks out of shape. Freeland doesn't get strikeouts. Hard to get much production when you can't strike anybody out. Tanner Gordon looks all right. Brown looks okay. But these are real young, unproven guys. Your bullpen has, for the most part, been all right. It sucks that you lost Halverson. He was doing great. Vodnik has been great. Hill throws hard. I don't know. There's elements of the pitching staff that are okay. But your starting pitching has put you at such a deficit. It's ridiculous. I like Mickey Moniak and Tyler Freeman. Those guys have been all right. Arcia, whatever. Estrada, kind of whatever. Again, first base has been an inconsistent disaster, except for a short period of time with Warming Burnable. Kyle Farmer's an aging journeyman player. There's just nothing in the future there. So, and never mind, you're saddled with the ridiculous Chris Bryant situation. You're in trouble big time. And without massive sweeping changes, there is no hope that you're going to do anything different than you did this year. And then you're going to have a jerk like me talk about walking to Coors Field, rooting for you to not be the worst team of all time. They're stuck on 41. They need to get one more win to avoid the walk of shame, and we'll see if they can do so against a subpar 500 Marlins team who has started the most rookies. The most rookie plate appearances starts have come from the Marlins this year. You swept the Marlins in Miami earlier this year. I don't know what to say if you can't get win 42 tonight.
To win games, you have to win the game, not lose the game.
Have a great day.